the cost of the illusion. You paid extra for that truffle oil. You believed the label. You trusted the glass bottle, the rustic font, the black and white photo of some Italian hillside. But here's the thing they didn't tell you. There's not a single truffle in it, not one. It's petroleum byproducts, lab synthesized in a factory outside Shanghai, flavored with 24 the apple molecule, a molecule that mimics truffle aroma, but costs less than 3 cents per ounce. And that's just the warm-up. Your vanilla extract, likely derived from lignin, a wood pulp waste product from the paper industry, chemically processed into vanillin using sulfuric acid and high-pressure reactors. Your Parmesan shaker, packed with cellulose, yes, wood pulp, to prevent clumping and inflate weight. This isn't deception, it's design, legally sanctioned, FDA compliant, and engineered to exploit the gap between what you think you're buying and what you're actually getting. But that's only the legal stuff. The real crime happens when fraud crosses into the black market, where honey becomes corn syrup, olive oil becomes soybean sludge, and caviar becomes dyed lumpfish roe sold as Caspian gold. Globally, food fraud generates an estimated $40 billion annually, more than the GDP of 90 sovereign nations. It funds organized crime, undermines honest farmers, and puts consumers at risk of allergens, toxins, and nutritional voids. This isn't about natural versus processed. This is about truth versus theft. And if you've ever read a label and thought, this seems too good to be true, congratulations, you're already halfway to seeing through the scam. Over the next 8,000 words, we're going inside the global underworld of food fraud, exposing how fakes are made, how they're sold, and most importantly, how you can spot them before they hit your cart. Because in the modern food economy, your wallet isn't just a payment method, it's a voting booth, and right now you're being played. We're talking about 11 of the most faked foods on the planet, products you've probably bought, consumed, and recommended to friends without ever knowing you were funding a criminal enterprise disguised as grocery shopping. This isn't conspiracy theory, this is documented, prosecuted, billion-dollar fraud that operates in plain sight because most people never think to question what's actually inside that fancy bottle or artisanal package. But you're about to, because once you see how deep this rabbit hole goes, you can't unsee it. And that's exactly the point. Truffle oil, chemical theater for the masses. Let's start with a poster child of culinary con artistry, truffle oil. You've seen it drizzled over pasta in Brooklyn bistros, splashed onto scrambled eggs in LA brunch spots, sold in sleek bottles at Whole Foods for $28. The label says truffle infused, the aroma is earthy, musky, intoxicating, like someone bottled the essence of a Tuscan forest floor and charged you a premium to experience it. But here's the forensic truth. Real truffle oil doesn't exist at scale. Fresh truffles are so volatile, they lose their aroma within days of harvest. Infusing oil with actual truffles yields a product so faint, so fleeting, that no commercial kitchen would tolerate it. The flavor would be gone before the bottle even made it to the shelf. So what you're actually buying is synthetic truffle flavor, primarily 24-diapentin, a sulfur-based compound first isolated in the 1980s and now mass-produced in Chinese chemical plants. The molecule is so potent that just 1.1 parts per billion can trigger the truffle response in your brain. It's chemical theater, a sensory hijacking that convinces you you're tasting luxury when you're actually tasting petroleum derivatives. And because the FDA doesn't require disclosure of synthetic flavor sources, as long as it's generally recognized as safe, companies can legally label it truffle oil with zero truffle content. Zero, not a shaving, not a molecule, just lab-made chemicals suspended in cheap olive oil or sunflower oil, packaged in a bottle, designed to look expensive, and sold to people who want to feel sophisticated without actually paying for sophistication. In 2022, Italian food regulators raided a facility in Emilia-Romagna that had been selling black truffle oil, made entirely from sunflower oil and lab chemicals, falsely stamped with PDO, Protected Designation of Origin, seals. The operation moved over 2 million euros in fake product before being shut down. 2 million euros. And that's just one facility in one region of one country. Multiply that across Europe, North America, Asia, and you start to see the scale of the scam. But here's the kicker, even high-end chefs know it's fake. Many admit they use it precisely because it's consistent, cheap, and loud. Unlike the subtle, seasonal whisper of real truffles are temperamental. They vary by soil, weather, harvest time. Synthetic truffle oil, it tastes the same every single time. It's predictable, it's reliable, it's everything a restaurant kitchen needs when they're trying to deliver the same dish to 300 customers a night. So when you pay a premium for that bottle, you're not buying luxury, you're buying performance. A sensory illusion designed to make you feel sophisticated while costing the producer less than $1. The markup is obscene, the deception is total, and the worst part, most people never find out. They drizzle it on their risotto, inhale that pungent aroma, and think they're experiencing something rare and precious. They're not. They're experiencing chemistry. To spot the real deal, look for oil that's cloudy, perishable, and sold in tiny batches, usually under $10 for a 2-ounce vial. If it's clear, shelf-stable, and costs $30, it's theater, and you're the audience. Real truffle oil, if you can even find it, will be labeled with the specific truffle species, the harvest date, and a warning that it needs to be refrigerated and used within weeks. It won't smell like a chemical bomb. It'll smell delicate, earthy, almost floral. And it'll cost you because real truffles cost hundreds of dollars per pound, but at least you'll know you're eating something that actually came from the ground, not a reactor vessel in Shenzhen. Maple syrup, the $18 million 0 cents heist, and the corn syrup cut. Next up, maple syrup. That amber liquid in your pancake pitcher, it might be pure, or it might be part of the largest food heist in Canadian history, a crime so audacious it involved armed guards, secret warehouses, and a black market syrup reserve worth $18 million. Yes, really. In 2012, thieves broke into the Quebec Maple Syrup Producers Reserve, which is basically the OPEC of pancake toppings, and stole over 10,000 barrels of grade A syrup. 10,000 barrels, that's not a heist, that's a military operation. Why? Because real maple syrup is liquid gold. It takes 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup, and Quebec produces 72% of the world's supply. The QMSP controls prices by stockpiling surplus in boom years and releasing it in lean ones, keeping the market stable and preventing price crashes that would bankrupt small producers. But that control created a black market. When you artificially stabilize prices, you create arbitrage opportunities. Fraudsters began diluting real syrup with corn syrup, caramel color, and artificial flavor, then selling it as pure across the US and Europe. The profit margins were insane. Buy real syrup at controlled prices, cut it 50-50 with corn syrup, sell it as pure, and pocket the difference. It's the oldest scam in the book, just applied to breakfast. In 2021, US Customs seized 15,000 gallons of fake maple syrup at the Port of Newark, labeled as Canadian but chemically matching high fructose corn syrup. Lab tests can detect fraud by analyzing isotopic ratios. Real maple has a distinct carbon-13 signature from photosynthesis in sugar maples. Corn syrup does not. The carbon atoms tell a story. They reveal whether the sugar came from a tree or a cornfield. But most consumers never test. They trust the leaf logo, the red and white label, the word Canada, and that assumption is exactly what fraudsters exploit. Here's your move. Check the ingredients. Pure maple syrup has one ingredient, maple syrup. That's it. If it says maple flavor, natural flavors, or lists anything else, especially corn syrup or sugar, it's fake. Also, real syrup is graded by color and taste, golden, amber, dark, very dark. If the label just says grade A without specifying color, that's a red flag. And if it's suspiciously cheap, under $10 for a 12-ounce bottle, it's almost certainly adulterated. Pay less, and you're smugglers. Wasabi, the horseradish and dye scam. Now let's talk about that bright green paste beside your sushi. It's not wasabi, not even close. Real wasabi, the Wasabia japonica rhizome, is so rare, so perishable, and so expensive that over 95% of what's served globally is a blend of horseradish, mustard powder, and green food coloring. Real wasabi costs up to $160 per pound. It grows only in cold, shaded mountain streams in Japan, takes 18 months to mature, and loses its volatile isothiocyanates, the compounds that give it heat and antimicrobial properties, within 15 minutes of grading. 15 minutes! That's how long you have to experience real wasabi before it turns into flavorless mush. Fake wasabi? Shelf-stable for years, neon green, and uniformly pungent. The fraud is so normalized that even high-end sushi bars use the imitation, partly because real wasabi is nearly impossible to source outside Japan, and partly because customers expect that harsh, sinus-clearing burn, which real wasabi doesn't deliver. Real wasabi is floral, delicate with a quick fade. It doesn't punch you in the sinuses, it caresses them. But that's not what people want. They want pain. So restaurants give them horseradish dyed green and call it wasabi, and nobody complains because nobody knows what real wasabi actually tastes like. The FDA doesn't regulate the term wasabi in the US, so any green paste can use the name. It's like calling orange juice champagne because they're both liquid. The logic doesn't hold, but the law doesn't care. To spot real wasabi, it's pale green or off-white, slightly gritty, and served freshly grated on a sharkskin paddle. If it's uniformly bright green, smooth, and comes from a tube or squeeze bottle, it's horseradish dyed with FD&C blue no 1 and yellow no 5. And while it's not dangerous, it's a lie and a missed opportunity to experience one of the world's most nuanced condiments, Parmesan, the sawdust and salt racket. Now, let's talk about that shaker of Parmesan you keep in your fridge. If it's not labeled Parmigiano Reggiano with the official DOP Denominazione di Origine Protetta seal stamped in pin dots along the rind, it's probably not Parmesan at all, and it definitely contains cellulose powder, also known as wood pulp. In 2016, Bloomberg tested 5 major US brands of grated Parmesan. 1, 0. It was cellulose, milk powder, and salt. Another craft had 3.8% cellulose, far exceeding the FDA's informal guidance of less than 4%. But here's the legal loophole. The FDA allows up to 4% anti-caking agents in grated cheese, and cellulose is approved as one. So companies add it not just to prevent clumping, but to bulk up weight. Wood pulp costs pennies per pound. Cheese costs dollars. It's the ultimate filler. The fraud goes deeper in Europe. In 2022, Italian police dismantled a ring selling 15,000 tons of fake Parmigiano Reggiano, made from low-grade cheese, milk powder, and salt, stamped with counterfeit DOP seals. The operation spanned Italy, Germany, and the Netherlands, netting 20 million euro. And these weren't small-time operators, these were organized crime syndicates using cheese fraud to launder money. Real Parmigiano Reggiano is made under strict rules. Raw cow's milk from Parma or Reggio Emilia, aged at least 12 months, tested by a master grader who taps the wheel with a hammer to listen for flaws. Real Parmigiano costs $20 to $25 per pound. If your Parmigiano costs $8 per pound and comes in a green can, it's sawdust and salt with a side of marketing. To protect yourself, buy whole wheels or wedges with visible DOP markings. Grade it yourself. Avoid anything pre-grated unless it's from a trusted cheesemonger who grates it in front of you. And remember, if it doesn't list Parmigiano Reggiano as the sole ingredient, it's not the real deal. Vanilla extract, the wood pulp and legume trick? That bottle of pure vanilla extract in your pantry? There's a 70% chance it's not from a vanilla orchid. Real vanilla comes from the Vanilla planifolia vine, grown primarily in Madagascar. It's the second most expensive spice after saffron because each pod must be hand-pollinated, cured for months in the sun, and extracted in alcohol. The process is labor-intensive, time-consuming, and vulnerable to weather. But global demand far outstrips supply, so the industry turned to synthetic vanillin. Most natural vanilla flavor today is made from lignin, a waste byproduct of the paper industry. Wood pulp is treated with caustic soda and oxidized under high heat to produce vanillin, chemically identical to the natural molecule, but derived from trees, not orchids. The EU allows this to be labeled natural flavor because it comes from plants. Never mind that those plants are pine trees destined for toilet paper. The US is even looser. Vanilla extract must contain vanilla beans, but vanilla flavor can be entirely synthetic. There's no requirement to disclose the source. It could be wood pulp, it could be petroleum, it could be synthesized from cow dung for all you know. As long as it's generally recognized as safe, it's legal. In 2023, a class action lawsuit targeted major brands for selling vanilla ice cream colored with synthetic vanillin and caramel with no actual vanilla beans. The companies argued that vanilla is just a flavored descriptor, not a guarantee of ingredient sourcing, and legally they're right. To spot real vanilla, check the ingredient list. Pure extract should list only vanilla beans, alcohol, water. If it says vanilla flavor, natural flavors, or vanillin, it's synthetic. Also, real extract is dark brown and slightly cloudy with tiny black specks. Those are vanilla seeds. If it's under $10 for 8 ounces, it's chemistry, not agriculture. Caviar, dyed fish eggs in the black market. Caviar, the ultimate luxury, tiny black pearls of brine-cured sturgeon roe. Except it's not caviar. Not real caviar, anyway. Today, over 60% of caviar sold as beluga or ossetra is fake. Why? Because wild sturgeon are critically endangered. International trade in wild beluga caviar has been banned since 2006. So what's in those tins? Mostly lumpfish, capelin, or trout roe, dyed black with squid ink or synthetic colorants, and injected with gelatin to mimic the pop of sturgeon eggs. The texture is close, the color is close, but the flavor, not even in the same universe. Real caviar has a buttery, oceanic flavor with a clean finish. Fake caviar tastes fishy, metallic, or overly salty. In 2018, German customs seized 2 tons of fake caviar labeled as Iranian beluga, actually dyed carp eggs from China. The fraud is so sophisticated that even experts struggle to tell the difference without DNA testing. Price is your first clue. Authentic beluga costs $10,000.